Do you want to know what the loudness war actually is and what drives it? Then keep on watching. Okay, so the first concept I want you to learn is the digital audio scale. So what you need to know here is that the audio level in the digital domain is measured differently than real physical audio level. When you measure how loud sounds are in the real world, you use a decibel meter, which looks like this. The average volume of speech is around 60 decibel. Traffic noise is around 80 decibel, and so on. The louder the sound, the higher the decibel number is. There is no actual limit to how loud a sound can be in the physical real world. Here comes the important point you need to learn. In digital form, you need another way to measure the loudness level of audio. That scale has a range, which means it also has a limit. The ceiling is the absolute loudness level audio can be in digital form. And this peak level is called 0 decibel. The scale goes from 0 at the top to negative values below. So remember this, the digital audio scale is measured in negative values and peaks at -0 decibel. Nothing goes above that. Think of the digital audio scale as a glass of water and the audio level as the amount of water you currently have in the glass. No matter how hard you try, you will never be able to have more water in the glass than it can hold. Okay, this brings us to concept 2, audio clipping. Clipping is often also called digital distortion. Consider what happened when I tried to pour more water into an already full glass. It ran over the edges and created a mess. It's the same with the audio level in the digital domain. If you try to push the level of audio too high, it will only clip the waveform and create a mess just like the water glass analogy. Clipped audio sounds really bad and should always, and I mean always, be avoided. The next concept I want you to know about is called dynamic range. Think of this as the average variations in loudness level in your audio. Let's consider a real-world example. If you whisper a word, it might be measured to, let's say, 20 decibel. Let's say you then shout the same word at 100 decibel. That difference is a dynamic range of 80 decibel. This is of course an extreme example, but you should learn the point that dynamic range is very important to our perception of sound. More dynamic range means more room for expression and impact. An explosion, for example, sounds much bigger and louder after silence than after another explosion. This is one reason that you in movies will experience a very big dynamic range. Alright, now we have come to the final concept I want you to learn. Average loudness level. The recently standardized way of measuring average loudness level is in a unit called LUFS or LUFS, which stands for Loudness Units Relative to Full Scale. In music, the average loudness level is very different depending on genre. But in general, it has become higher and higher since around the early 90s. The reason for this is often called the loudness war. It is driven by the fact that human hearing is different than a peak volume decibel meter. Our ears pick up on what's called the average loudness level. It means that we respond to the average sound pressure level over time. And if you decrease dynamic range, you will increase the average loudness level. And since we have an absolute peak value in the digital audio scale, the only way to sound louder than the track played previously on radio, for example, is to compress the dynamic range. Now, this is very important for you to learn. If you want a higher average loudness level, it comes at the impact of less dynamic range. And the opposite is also true. If you want more dynamic range, the track will have a less average loudness level. You have to decide what is best for your music. So now you know what the loudness war actually is. It is up to you to decide whether you want your tracks to be louder or have lots of dynamic range and expression. I'm Mike, signing out, and you rock, my friends! Are you a music maker who wants to become successful with your music? Then join the Music Makers group on Facebook and meet and connect with fellow music makers on the same journey as you.